Today, I want to talk about something that has truly shifted the way I experience motherhood and daily life, and that is the practice of romanticizing my life. Now, I acknowledge that this idea of romanticizing life can come across as some Instagram trend, very focused on aesthetic, very surface level, superficial at times. But this practice is actually deeply rooted in gratitude and in being present in the moment. And with it being the beginning of November, a month where we are talking about gratitude and thankfulness all month long, thought what better time than to dive into this now. Welcome to Worthy Mother Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Hardy, a mom of two on a mission to help moms everywhere feel less alone. This is not a parenting podcast. Instead, it's a space for pushing back against societal expectations of perfection and embracing self-compassion in your motherhood journey. Let's get into it. Welcome. It's Emily. I want to tell you a little bit about how I start every morning. I am an iced coffee girl. I drink iced coffee pretty much every day of the year, even when it's freezing out. Sometimes I'm like, this is not what I need. I need a good cup of hot coffee. But I have coffee pretty much every morning in a cute glass with a glass straw. They're colored. They're cute. If you're on YouTube, you can see I'm holding mine up. Love it. It is so cute, so aesthetic. It's something that brings me a little bit of joy beyond just the act of drinking the iced coffee. Does it make the biggest difference in the world? Absolutely not. But does it start my day off with something a little cute and a little fun, and that just feels like something that's a gift for me? It totally does. And as I think about this and other little tiny small acts that I am intentionally choosing in my daily life that bring me small amounts of joy that do compound and build up to feeling just more joyful in my day-to-day, I really think of this idea as romanticizing life. It's really like creating space in our life for things that bring us joy that don't really do anything else except bring us joy, right? We don't need the cute coffee mug. We don't need the candle lit while we're making dinner. But if it's something that brings joy, it's like, why not? This idea of romanticizing life can get a bad rap sometimes. And I think especially as moms, when there are so many things we, quote, should be worrying about. And there's so many things we are worried about all the time, right? There's a lot going on. And so doing these extra, honestly, kind of superfluous things can feel like, well, that's not worth my time. I shouldn't be doing that for me because there's other things I need to take care of. But here's the thing. Everything that I'm going to share today about how I romanticize my life with small little actions is something that is so minuscule. It's not adding time to my day. It's not really doing a whole lot in terms of making things totally different. And it's not for the purpose of anything except that it brings me joy. It might bring me a little bit of relaxation. It might make me smile. It makes me feel like I'm doing something for me. It's not really about doing more. It's about noticing more and really noticing what brings you joy in the present moment more. Motherhood as a whole can feel anything but romantic some of the time, and really, I would say most of the time. And that's exactly why this mindset, this practice of romanticizing life is so grounding, why it can bring so much gratitude into our lives in the day-to-day when things otherwise feel pretty chaotic and pretty messy. So let's talk about how romanticizing life naturally cultivates gratitude in your life. You really start to see what is already good around you when you are taking this intentional route, this intentional practice of romanticizing things in life. You're having the coffee anyway. You might as well do something to bring a little bit more attention to the joyful act of drinking that coffee, right? You're cooking the dinner anyway, and lighting the candle brings a little bit more joy to it. You might as well experience more joy in the act that you're already doing. This is not about forcing positivity. I am extremely anti-toxic positivity, and I'm also anti-toxic gratitude and feeling like we have to be grateful for everything in our lives to be worthy as humans and as mothers. I think that's bullshit, and I am not trying to perpetuate messages of you should enjoy making dinner, so light the candle, because that's not what this is about. But there is something to be said about being intentional about finding the joy in moments. Again, not in every moment. This isn't about enjoying every moment of motherhood. This isn't about appreciating every moment of your day. But there are things as you go about your day that you probably do appreciate, that you probably could enjoy. And if you're not intentional about cultivating that and capturing that moment, the moment passes and there's no gratitude experienced. But I will tell you, as somebody who has been on a journey of developing greater gratitude in life, when we have a more gratitude-based mindset, our capacity for experiencing joy does increase. Like, this has happened for sure in my life over the last year and a half. I have increased my capacity for joy because I am able to do things for me and show myself a little bit of love through the actions I take, the like extra actions that I take for me. And my capacity to experience joy in the day-to-day has increased. I show up better as a mom some of the time because of that, right? Because I am just, my baseline is higher. My vibes are raised a little bit. I'm showing up for me. I'm feeling grateful about the things around me. And it helps. It's not the answer to everything, right? We're still dealing with the chaos of the world we're mothering in, the systems that make it hard. For me, I've been going through a divorce and there's been a lot of transition over the last year. And that's obviously been something that's impacted my mental health as well. But that capacity for joy and the experiencing of more joy because I'm doing little things for myself is huge and has made a massive difference, I can say firsthand. I really think of choosing to intentionally romanticize life as an act of self-love. When I do something that is just for me, just because it makes me feel good, not because it's productive, not because it benefits somebody else, but for me, that sends the message to me that I am worthy of my own love, I am worthy of my own care, and I am worthy of experiencing joy. And I again want to point out that I do acknowledge that sometimes when we're having conversations about doing these extra things for ourselves, we can get into the territory of feeling like that's stupid to say drinking out of a cute glass is going to bring me enough joy to like sustain me through the day. And that's not what it's about, right? It's not about being the fix to everything. But it is important to acknowledge that when you are creating moments for yourself, when you are doing things for joy, when you allow yourself to open up to the experience of joy, when it comes to small little things, almost like this idea of childlike joy, right? When we were kids, we didn't put a whole lot of judgment into what it was that brought us joy, right? If you liked picking flowers and that brought you a lot of joy, then cool, that's what you would spend your time doing. If you liked doing art, or if you liked dance parties, or if you liked whatever it was and it brought you joy, there was no judgment as a kid of, that's a waste of time, right? That's not productive. When we're kids, we experience that joy because we're open to it. But that gets trained out of us. It gets trained out of us that doing small, like things that we think of as being kind of meaningless or that don't hold a lot of value, the idea even of experiencing joy with those things can feel almost shameful. Like there's other things we should be focused on. We should be focused on experiencing joy with our children, or we should be focused on being productive and getting things done. And when we can allow ourselves the moments where we say, you know what, this actually does bring me joy and I'm going to do it because it brings me joy, we can access that childlike joy and we can experience it. And it is showing ourselves so deeply that we are worthy of that. Just like our children are worthy of that, just like we were worthy of that when we were kids, we're still worthy of experiencing that now. And I know if this is something that you are not currently doing, if you're not currently in the practice of intentionally romanticizing your life, you may be listening to me and thinking like, I don't know. These are small things you're talking about. And we'll get into some of the ways that I romanticize my life in a moment. But you may be thinking like these are kind of silly small things. And first of all, yeah, the things that I share may not be things that bring you joy. And so it's important to acknowledge like I'm going to share little tiny things that bring me joy. But it's also important to acknowledge that the small things, the small experiences of joy add up. For me, there have been times in my life where experiencing really any sort of joy in my life was pretty much non-existent. And I'm talking about pre-motherhood and also as a mom. Just times where things feel heavy and I'm just getting through, just surviving. I'm in survival mode and it's hard to access joy. And the shift from that to intentionally creating tiny moments and allowing myself to feel joy because of those things has been massive in just the way that I move through the world with gratitude and with love and appreciation for myself and for everything around me. So again, I'll say this one more time. It's not to say that doing small things to romanticize your life is going to fix every issue you have. That's not what it's about at all. But it's the intentionality behind giving yourself the opportunity to experience more joy that has massive ripple effects on your life and the opportunity for immense positive change. Okay, so as promised, I am going to share a few of the ways that I romanticize my life. These are the small actions that I take that do bring me joy. And I want to be very, very clear right here that, again, some of these things may sound like the silliest things to you that have nothing to do with anything that would bring you joy. So this isn't about like take all of this and implement it in your life, because we're all individuals, we're all unique, and we all have different things that bring us joy. But I just want to give you a sense of like what I'm talking about here, some other ideas of like how I romanticize life, these little things that bring me joy. And maybe that can get the wheels turning for you of ways that you could bring a little bit more joy into your life, or adapt any of these ideas to really like make it personalized for you. So let me get into it. I'm just going to share some of these. Again, that glass straw in a cute glass that is colored, that's a huge one for me. I love having my coffee in that in the morning, but I've also gotten into the practice of in the evenings drinking a sparkling water out of one of these glasses as well. It is so awesome to like have a little treat, and like literally I just have like a little croix, like a sparkling flavored water. It's like nothing too fancy. It's really just a little bit of hydration, but I feel like I'm doing something special for me. So it's really great and super easy, and there's not a whole lot involved there. Another thing I like to do is listen to music while I'm doing tasks. So while I'm folding laundry, while I'm doing the dishes, even sometimes when the kids are home and we're just kind of doing our own independent things, I'll put music on that I like to listen to. This is fun if you're somebody who likes to create playlists, or maybe used to make mixtapes. You could have different playlists for different moods or for different activities and tasks that you're doing, different seasons. You can kind of think of it however you want, but like spending a little bit of time curating those playlists for what it is you want to curate them for, and then taking the action to play those playlists for yourself. Like, what an act of self-love, and what a way to like just appreciate the moment a little bit more when you're doing something super mundane, and if you're anything like me, something that you really don't like doing, like folding laundry, right? Another thing that I do, and I talk about this a lot, but I pretty much always have my nails done these days. I use press-on nails. I buy them on sale in bulk so that I like have a bunch to choose from. It is not the act of getting my nails done that is romanticizing my life, but it is the actual act of having my nails done. So just existing with my nails done right now, recording this right before Halloween. So I have some black sparkly nails on. If you are on YouTube, you can see those, but it brings me joy. And when I finally let myself tap into that and understand, like, I could do this or I could not do it, and if I do it, it brings me joy, cool, right? Like, I might as well do it. Something else is wearing like matching sweat sets. So instead of like just wearing some crappy pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt or some random sweatshirt, like having a matching set, like when you buy the set, instead of just buying sweatpants and a sweatshirt, not necessarily investing in anything fancy, but just that they match, they're the same color. That is something that like I like when I'm home in my loungiest sweats, that they match and I look kind of cute because they match. And if it was not matching, it would not look put together at all. But it makes me feel good to have that matching sweatsuit. Do I wear that all the time? No. But when I'm wearing sweats and I am wearing that, like it brings me like a little bit of joy. I also like having like an aesthetic phone case. So I have my purple sparkly phone case with my purple sparkly heart pop socket. So fun. I think I'm getting a new one soon to get the MagSafe. But I like chose one that I'm like, this is my aesthetic. This is what I want it to look like. And again, it's something I have with me all the time. I see my phone way too much, right? Probably relate to that. It might as well be cute and match my aesthetic and be fun. And it's definitely the aesthetic of like a child. I've had some of my 4-year-old's friends, these little girls, compliment my phone case. I'm like, yeah, it's because if you had a phone, this is probably what you would choose. But it brings me joy. And again, it's like, it can sound so silly saying that, But if it does bring me joy, I might as well lean into that and let myself experience that joy. Another small act, and this is something that I don't do often because it's a little bit of a splurge for me and just not something that I have the energy usually to like keep up with, but getting fresh flowers, having fresh flowers. There's just something about having fresh flowers sitting on the table, the smell, the aesthetic, love it all. And if I'm feeling like I need a little pick-me-up, might as well grab a little bouquet of fresh flowers, whether that's if I'm shopping at Trader Joe's and just decide to get one, or there's a little farm stand down the street for me and I have picked up bouquets of fresh flowers there a couple times. They're just small, like little, not expensive bouquets. But even like going out into your yard, if you have a garden, and picking flowers and bringing them in, just to like bring some of that inside and make it feel good and happy and joyful. I don't know. It's always a mood booster for me when there's fresh flowers around. Again, not something I do often, but when I do, I notice it. And then the last thing I'll share is just having cute notebooks and pens. Again, this is something for a long time I felt like it was kind of stupid. I loved getting cute notebooks and having nice pens that felt good writing with, but like I also felt like it was kind of dumb that I liked that for a while. Like that's truly how I felt. And now I'm like, screw that. I can have the cute notebook. If I'm going to be journaling or I'm going to be doing something where I need to write things down, taking notes for work, I might as well think the notebook's cute. Why not? Again, if I need a notebook and pen anyway, I might as well choose the notebook and pen that bring me joy. Like that mindset shift into choosing the thing that brings you joy because you might as well. It's huge. It's massive. And just like taking a look at all of that, none of this is super hard to do. Some of it costs money. Some of it is completely free and probably something you're already doing, but might as well bring a little flair to it. Like drinking coffee in the morning, you're probably already doing it. If you can bring a little bit more joy into that experience, why not? So I encourage you to think about what feels romantic for you, what feels aesthetically pleasing to you, what feels like it brings a little bit of joy, even if it feels kind of silly that brings a little bit of joy into your life. What is it for you? What are those things? I encourage you to really think about that. Think about the things that you do every single day and how you could bring an element of joy into that. Again, not because it's going to shift everything, not because it's going to change your life in massive ways, but because when you do those small little things, the ripple effect can actually have those big impacts. You are worthy of doing things just for you. I will stand 10 toes down on that. If you are doing something and the sole reason is because it brings you joy, I support that. And we also know that the ripple effects of that and the gratitude and self-love that can bring to your life are huge, and probably the people around you will also benefit as well. That's just an added bonus. If this episode inspires you to try something new in the effort of romanticizing your life, or maybe even just to look at something you're already doing through a new lens and allowing yourself to really access the joy that moment brings in your day, I would love to hear about it. If you want to comment here on the YouTube video or find my post on Instagram about this at Honestly Emily Rose and leave a comment telling me how you are choosing to romanticize your days, let me know. I would love to hear. Again, this is such a unique thing to each of us, and I would just love to hear what you are doing to bring a little bit of romance into your day-to-day, because we all know that in motherhood, if we're not doing that intentionally, it's probably not happening. So feel free to share with me. We will be back again next week for another incredible guest episode. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss out. And with that, you are worthy, mama.